All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are so happy to have you here on this call tonight. We'll keep it nice and brief. Nice and brief. Hopefully, only about 30 minutes. And we're just going to share some education and information with you, followed by some stories. My name is Julie. I'm going to be your host tonight, along with Jess and Erica and Danielle. And we're going to share something that we have found that we find to just be an amazing solution and something we want to make sure that we share with others. We are a part of a unique group called the Healthy Living Revolution. And our goal is to come alongside of individuals and families and help them to take their health back in ways that are simple, doable, and fun. So we're going to start out with a little bit of education. We are passionate because there are two really startling trends that are happening in our world today. And the first is that our environmental toxins are increasing. So whether this is products that we're putting on our skin, the air that we're breathing, the water we're drinking, the food we're eating, the pharmaceuticals we're taking, our world is so much more toxic today than it was for our ancestors. And at the same time that our environment is becoming more toxic, our food quality is severely decreasing. So I love this image because this gentleman's in the center aisles of the grocery store. And I know I made a really big shift in my wellness journey about 8 years ago when I decided to quit looking at the calories and fat in food and start looking at the ingredients. And I was shocked when I realized that most of what I was eating was not food, but more food-like products. It was full of ingredients I couldn't pronounce or I didn't recognize. And I found usually that when I was shopping in the center aisles of the grocery store, that's when I was finding these foods that were full of preservatives, enhancers, synthetic vitamins, and artificial colors. And the truth is that our food should really be our first line of defense in terms of this increase in toxicity in our environment, but it's actually contributing to it. And the results are very scary. This is Dr. David Katz. He was head of prevention at Yale University. And he said that this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. Since he said that quote, it's been proven true that this will be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy. In fact, last month, the CDC decreased the life expectancy from 77 to 74. So this is at a time when we have more medical advances than we have ever had, yet we are doing something today that is causing our children to have a shorter life expectancy. And that's something I really don't want to, I want to stand up against. And I really believe we're going to change this tide because I think there's enough education and knowledge coming out about what we could do to change this. By age 12, many of our children have developed the beginning stages of hardening of the arteries. 1 in 3 children is obese, 1 in 3 will develop diabetes, and more than 25% of children take prescription drugs on a regular basis. This is Dr. Bill Sears. He's known as America's pediatrician. He actually found our community over 20 years ago when he himself was diagnosed with colon cancer. And he shares that really us adults aren't doing any better. So 1 in 3 live with some form of cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will have cancer and 1 in 2 men. And I want to repeat that because I've been sharing this for over 4 years and it only gets more true in my life. 1 in 3 women will have cancer and 1 in 2 men. I had 4 people die in my life in the past 2 weeks, and 3 of them were under the age of 48 from cancer. And it is getting to the point where it makes me get more and more passionate that we have to change something. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 3 is obese. But that's the end of all the depressing stuff. Really, the reason why I'm excited and passionate, and many of you on the call, is because of this big quote here on the bottom that 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. And while there are things that we're dealing with that we have no control over, the truth is that many Americans are dying of lifestyle-related chronic disease. And we do have more control than we think. And we can be empowered by it. So oxidative stress is linked to poor health. Well, what the heck is oxidative stress? Well, the truth is that if you're breathing, you have oxidative stress. There's nothing you can do about it. We were designed to have it. You could do something really good like exercise and you'll have an increase in oxidative stress. Or you could do something really bad like stay up late drinking and smoking and you'll have an increase in oxidative stress. So it's not always linked to good or bad habits. We just have it as life goes on. But God had this wonderful plan, and he knew we were going to have this cellular damage, which is oxidative stress, and he gave us antioxidants. So what this stress is in our body is that there are these free radicals that are just pinging our cells all day long, millions of times a day. And every time they ping our cells, they damage our cells. But God gave us antioxidants, and when we eat antioxidants, it donates a proton to the free radical and it neutralizes the free radical. It keeps it from damaging our cells. So a really great way to think about it is to consider an apple. When you cut open an apple and that flesh is exposed to the oxygen, it begins to brown, to rust, to age, to mold. But we know if we take lemon juice, an antioxidant, and we squeeze it on that flesh, it delays the aging process. And that is what fruits and vegetables do for us internally. They delay our aging process and externally. So we really do need more of them because oxidative stress is the root of all disease, aging, and death. So we all know where we get antioxidants from, right? From fruits and vegetables, but today's mass-produced produce is packing a much less nutritional punch. And there's two main reasons for this. The first is soil depletion. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but you should know about it. So read up on it, Google it. The second is that it's mass-produced. I can go up to Schnucks and buy just about any fruit or vegetable I'd like, but our produce gets most of its nutrition within the last 24 to 48 hours of ripening on the vine. And our produce is picked a good 3 to 4 weeks before we eat it or buy it from the store. And there's a great way to think about it. I was educated that, the fruit and vegetable is like the baby of a plant. And we know there's a difference when we take a baby at 40 weeks or a baby at 38 weeks, or a baby at 38 weeks compared to 36 weeks, or 36 compared to 34. But what we're doing is we're ripping that fruit and vegetable from its nutrient source way before it is ripened. And the results are very scary. This is the iron content that was present in a bowl of spinach in 1953. In 1997, you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach to get the same iron content that you got in 1953. And I really believe that this image describes the disheartening statistics from the doctors that we saw earlier. Because even though I think we all know that fruits and vegetables are important, I think that we're unaware just of the uphill battle that we're fighting in terms of our produce today. And so we really do need more. But that's just iron. It's relatively newer research that we're learning what really is present in our food, in our fruits and vegetables. Back in the 1950s and 1960s, they thought that there were 12 essential vitamins in foods. That's when we came up with the standard multivitamin. So we decided to synthetic, man-made, isolate them, put them in a multivitamin, and thought we were bridging the gap. But as we know, we have not gotten any healthier over the last 50 to 60 years that we've had a multivitamin. And it's within the last 10 to 15 years that they've actually discovered that there are over 20,000 unique nutrients in one apple, over 25,000 unique nutrients in one blueberry, and over 14,000 in an avocado. And some say we're just scratching the surface. We'll never really know what's present in our food that makes it so powerful. It's like if Galileo thought there were 312 stars in the sky. We'll probably never know, but what we do know is synergy. So all of these 400 ingredients that you see next to the apple, they work synergistically together to either heal us or keep us well from the inside out. So ingredient number 7 works with ingredient number 400 and ingredient number 10,002. And there's 2 awesome examples of this. The first is that an apple itself only has about 5.7 milligrams of vitamin C. But when you eat it and digest it, it's the equivalent of taking a 1,500 milligram megadose isolated vitamin C tablet, because that vitamin C really is turned on and meant to work with all of those other nutrients. Also, lycopene is found in a tomato, and it's known to fight prostate cancer. But they're finding that when they isolate the lycopene from the tomato, it has 0 effect on the cancer. And that's because that lycopene was meant to work with all of the thousands of ingredients. So we don't really have a vitamin deficiency. You may have a unique situation where you're working on one certain vitamin, but in general, as a population, we don't really have a vitamin deficiency. We have a whole food deficiency. And for forever, it was 5 a day, right? 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And then the government realized it wasn't enough, and they increased it to 7 or 13, but that's if you're healthy. If you're pregnant, if you exercise, or if you're fighting disease, which I think most people probably fit into all of those categories, you actually need 16 to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I've read some studies that suggest that within the next 50 years, we will need 30 servings of fruits and vegetables a day to combat the increase in toxicity in our environment and our depleted nutrition. So the government did this big campaign a couple years ago saying more matters, and they're right. The truth is nobody with a standard American diet or even an upgraded American diet really gets too many fruits and vegetables in their diet every single day. So I am super thankful. Jess, Erica, Danielle are so happy that at some point in our journey, somebody introduced us to Juice Plus. And I love to tell the backstory of how Juice Plus came to be because I think it's so cool. It was developed over 30 years ago by a doctor. His name is Dr. Smokey Santillo, and he was more of a holistic practitioner that helped cancer patients juice. And his dad was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he was given 3 weeks to live. So Dr. Smokey decided that he had to find a way to make his juice more powerful. So instead of juicing the fruits and vegetables, he was going to take the whole thing with the pits, the peel, the rinds, the seeds, because much of our nutrition is in some of the parts that we throw away. So he was going to take the whole thing and blend it up in a Vitamix. He took what was left over, it was like a slurry, and he dehydrated that at a cold temperature to preserve the nutrients, and it resulted in a powder. So our capsules are full of powder. And he took that powder and he just pumped his dad full of the powder, and he ended up living for 6 more years. And not only did he live, but he had quality of life, which is very unique in cancer patients these days. And it was at that point that Dr. Smokey knew that he was onto something. He looked for a company like this that would share person to person and would explain what the solution is, because it's not going to sit on store shelves. It really is food in a capsule that would go bad. And it's not going to sit next to vitamins and supplements because it's not a vitamin or a supplement. So he wanted it to be explained in this way. And he found that company, and our product hit the market 25 years ago. This has been on the market for 25 years. I'm going to tell you in a second what makes it unique, but for a moment, I want you to look at all of this variety on the screen. We have our fruit blend on the left, our veggie blend in the middle, and our berry blend on the right. And I want you to know that food is information to your body. So if they wanted to test you for breast cancer, they would give you the same mineral every single time. And that mineral, every time you eat it, goes straight to the breast. And that really is, when I showed you those hundreds of ingredients in an apple earlier, all of those different nutrients do different unique things in your body. And all of these different colors and all of this variety do different things in your body. So sometimes I talk to people that say, well, I eat a lot of fruit, I just need more greens. And the truth is that's not true. We all need more of this variety on a consistent basis, and it can add up to something really amazing. So what makes Juice Plus unique? Well, the first is my favorite. It's food. This is food in a capsule. It has a nutrition label, just like a bag of carrots would, not a vitamin or a supplement label. There is no warning label. You cannot overdose. When my son was 6 months old, I took the capsule, opened it up, and put it in his food. Because if you can eat food, you can eat Juice Plus. And that made sense to me. It's full of that phytonutrition that you saw that's in an apple, all those thousands of ingredients, not isolated synthetic vitamins. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. It's NSF certified, which is a third party that validates that what we say is in our product is, and nothing more. It's the highest level of certification you can receive. We've had it for over 20 years. But the reason why I love the NSF certification is because they ensure that these powders are free of any herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, yeast, mold, bacteria, and heavy metals. And that's even better than the organic produce that I can buy at the store, and I love that. And then finally, when Juice Plus hit the market 25 years ago, people had unique experiences, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in a second. So they decided they wanted to see, what is this product doing on human beings with blood drawn? And today, we are the most researched nutritional product in the world. We have 38 published studies. We have 9 underway. We've been researched at Brigham Young, Vanderbilt, Yale, MD Anderson Cancer Center, some of the most prestigious facilities here in the States and abroad. And I'm going to take a second to tell you my favorite study because it's amazing. This was done at the University of Maryland and published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, which meant nothing to me until I gave this talk to a group of pharmaceutical reps, and they told me that that is an impossible journal to get into, and you cannot buy your way into it, which of course then made me wonder why you could buy your way into any journal, but that's a whole nother story. But I thought that that was really cool. This study was the brainchild of a group of cardiologists because they know that over 50% of heart attacks happen 4 hours after consuming a high-fat meal. It's why Thanksgiving and Christmas are terrible days in the emergency room, and they wanted to see the effects of Juice Plus on heart health. So they took a group of people to McDonald's, and they fed them a pretty standard McDonald's breakfast, and they waited 4 hours, and they measured the constriction in their brachial artery. And that's this gray bar that you see. So you can see that everybody had about 40 to 50% constriction just 4 hours after eating that McDonald's breakfast. And then they took that group and they divided them up into 3. They put one group on a placebo, one group on our fruits and our veggies, and the last group on our fruits, veggies, and our berries. and they waited just 28 days. So the purple bar is 28 days later. They took that same group back to McDonald's, fed them the same meal, waited 4 hours, and measured the constriction in their arteries. You can see that the placebo group had a slight reduction. They also had the least amount of constriction to begin with. The group on our fruits and veggies, they had 60% less constriction just 28 days later. And the group on all three with our berries, fruits, veggies, and berries, they had almost 50% constriction, and they went down to less than 3%. And the reason why I love this study is because they changed nothing else. All they did was add 6 capsules full of powdered fruits and vegetables into their diet, and their body knew what to do with it. I think sometimes we can get so caught up on being perfect with our food, either perfect or not even trying, when the truth is we just need to do what's the next right thing, and we need to do something that we can maintain, because your body knows what to do with good. In fact, I read some pregnancy studies that say that you're better off adding more good than you are eliminating the bad. And I believe that's not only true for pregnancy, that's true for our life, right? We're better off adding in the good than we are eliminating the bad. So this is just 28 days later, just taking 6 capsules without making any other changes. Our core products is our fruit, veggie, and berry blend capsules. We also have these delicious Juice Plus Complete shakes. And so if you consider that your body is like a car needs oil and gas, a high quality of each to run well, and your body needs micronutrition and macronutrition. And just like the oil in our car, if we skip an oil change or delay an oil change or use crummy oil, as long as we have gas in the tank for a while, it'll be able to run, but problems are brewing. And that micronutrition in our bodies is like the oil. And it's the hundreds of ingredients that you saw are in an apple. It's cellular health, it's wellness, it's a vibrancy. And I believe it's where most Americans are deficient in, is in our micronutrition. So that's what you're going to get through our capsules. But our shakes, that's proteins, fats, and carbs. They actually fill your belly. It's gas in your tank, but it's a high quality, because in America, we have an abundance of macronutrition, but very little of it is a high quality. So it's low glycemic. They stabilize your blood sugar. The number one thing my friends tell me is that they actually keep them full. And it's not because it's full of 50 grams of protein. It's because it keeps your blood sugar stable. They're vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy-free, full of plants and powerful prebiotic fibers and oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides help to heal the lining of your gut. So in a time when many people are dealing with leaky gut, it's very important and exciting that our shakes have those in them. It's been a year in October that our company released our Omega Blend, which was our first capsule product in over 14 years. We saw that we really are deficient in high quality omegas, and many people are bridging the gap with a fish oil, but fish oil have issues. Number one, our fish are toxic, so they lend to our toxicity. But number two, it's not sustainable. It takes 3 to 4 pounds of fish to get 1 ounce of fish oil. But these omega fatty acids are really important for us. They're great for our heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. So we decided to skip the fish and go straight to the algae, which is where the fish get their omegas from. We decided to make it a full spectrum. So it's omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, all from plant sources. But what's really important was the technology to cold press our capsules. So I used to take an omega supplement that was fully encapsulated. In order for them to encapsulate that omega oil, they had to heat up that capsule. And when they do so, they degrade the quality of your oil because they heat up your oil. So it's really exciting that we have the technology to cold press it. I'm absolutely crazy about the omegas. They helped with my anxiety, and I swear by them now. And my kids, my 4 and 2-year-old, also take those as well. So I'm going to wrap this up with this awesome quote by Dr. Richard Du Bois. He was head of infectious disease in Atlanta, Georgia. He's been named America's top doc. And he was one of the first of now thousands of healthcare professionals to recommend Juice Plus. And he said, there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does. And so at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Jess to unmute herself and just share with us why she decided to add in Juice Plus and what she's noticed since doing so. So take it away, Jess.
Yeah, awesome. So Julie, she introduced this to me a little over 4 years ago. And I feel like when she first introduced, it just made sense. I always tried to follow a pretty clean diet and eat healthy, and the less ingredients I knew on the nutrition label or on a food label was best. But I also knew that I wasn't getting enough fruits and vegetables. So when Julie told me that there's kale in a capsule, I just thought to myself, well, this is a pretty good solution. And I know that fueling my body with the good stuff is going to help me feel really good. So I understood all that. And so again, it just made a lot of sense for me. And so I wasn't really expecting much. I just was expecting more so, hey, I'm bridging the gap between what I should be eating and and where I'm at today. So that's what I thought I'd get out of it, but it truly has been so much more. So my energy level has been, I feel like it's a little crazy because I wake up very early in the morning and go all day long. So just the energy level has helped me a lot. My skin feels clearer. I feel like my immune system is really strong. So not one to get sick very often. And again, just the biggest thing I think it's been is the peace of mind that I'm just doing really something good for myself. And then now having a daughter, it's just been amazing to know that I can share this with her. She can take this. And that's been a huge, a huge impact for me in terms of just knowing I can give this to her. I can give this to my husband. Like everyone in our family has really benefited from this. And at the end of the day, it's just this great peace of mind that I'm doing something really good. And I can truly say I'm feeling good from the inside out. And so there's just not a lot of instances that I think that you can say that. So it's been a journey over the years, but definitely an awesome one that has kept me feeling good and kept me feeling great.
Oh, I love that. Jess, I love that you said kale in a capsule because you're right. I believe
Yes.
everyone deserves to really put kale in a capsule.
Yes.
That's awesome. So Erica, if you can unmute yourself and just share with us your journey with Juice Plus and why you're excited to get started on it again.
Am I unmuted? I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm good. Perfect. Mine's pretty short and sweet. So I was actually in the children's trial as a kid, obviously. Don't really remember why we stopped taking it, but I did take it for years, trying to get my mama back on it again too. But I was given this presentation maybe a month ago that Jess invited me to, and I just really didn't realize that it had a food label. And I was like, holy crap, because the multivitamin I take now does not. And it kind of just sold me on it that this is real food. It's great for your body, bridging the gap. I've been following the keto diet for a while now. And so my fruit intake is very low. So I know I can take this and get those nutrients that I'm missing. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Yes, I can't wait to hear. And I love that you were on it when you're younger. I hear of so many people like that. So we're so happy to be able to reintroduce it to you. So Danielle, are you available to unmute yourself and share your story?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, take it away.
Hi. So I would just echo everything you all said about the capsules, but I think one thing that hasn't been mentioned is the complete protein. It's just been a lifesaver for me. I'm sitting next to my husband, and a huge pain point was always like, what the heck am I going to bring for lunch today? Or just like being on the go all the time, and not really wanting to prep, like sick of salads and all of that. So it's just an awesome way to like pack yourself with good stuff, either to kick off the day or for a lunch on the go. And I think for me, it's just a mindset in the morning, like kicking off my day with all of the great things that you all mentioned are in these little capsules helps set up my framework of like, I don't have to be perfect. This isn't a magic bullet by any means, but it definitely bridges the gap between what I want to feed my body and what sometimes, I don't. But I love the shakes too.
Oh my gosh, yes, you're so right. And my kids live on them, so I don't know what we would do without our shakes. So that's awesome. It's so good to hear from you all. Well, we really invite you to do one of three things now. Maybe you heard this information and you're just excited to try to add in more fruits and vegetables and go to the grocery store and do what you can do. And if that's where you're at, we totally support you. We really just want to help people take the next step to be healthy. Secondly, maybe you're excited to add in Juice Plus. And Erica actually shared something that's so amazing. Our company has a wonderful program where any adult who takes Juice Plus can sponsor any child for free. It doesn't even have to be your own child, age 4 through 18 or a full-time college undergrad. So that's how she took it years ago. And so we really have just this awesome, affordable solution to help families get a massive amount of nutrition. So if you're interested in adding in Juice Plus, make sure you reach out to the person who invited you on this call or shared this call with you. And then finally, if you heard all that information earlier and it struck a chord with you and you thought of people in your life who you want to know about this solution, that really is our heart. We're on a mission to inspire healthy living around the world. And if you thought of people who could hear about this, please let the person know who shared this with you, because we really want to help get this education into everyone's hands. So at this point, I'm going to stop recording